Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's session where we will be looking at how you can be able to get a job in this year 2021, and I'm going to share with you some of the greatest job search strategies that will enable you to get started right away. So this is basically the framework that we will be working with, and as you can see, it's quite detailed. You can see, yes, you will be starting with the job search. We need to think about your qualifications, how we put that in your CV, and how you do the application the best way so that you can be invited to this job interview. And when you get to the job interview, we think about how do you really focus your experience, your skills to show that you are the best candidate. We'll look at some of the statistics and some of the strategies that you need to think through. So this is generally like what we are going to cover in this live broadcast, and I'm really excited to be coming live and sharing with you some of this great insight that I have gathered over the years. I have been in this industry for the last 12 years, and I have seen what really works and what doesn't work. So I am willing and I'm very happy to come to your home, through your phone, to your computer, wherever you are at, to be able to share these interesting or these insights. I will be very happy if you can be able to give me a thumbs up, like this video, just drop in the chat, let me know you are joining me and where you're joining me from. In this broadcast, I am going to I want to give you this free gift. So we'll start off on the right note. So as part of the job application, you will realize that you will need to have a cover letter, and I prepared this guide, the ultimate cover letter guide, where you'll get 101 sample cover letters for all professions. And if you don't get a cover letter in your field, you just drop me an email and I'll send it to you. So I have dropped this link in the description of this video, or you can go after watching this video, go to www.careerpoint.co.ke/cover letter. There you get an opportunity to download this guide, the ultimate cover letter guide, and get all these 101 sample cover letters. Now, before I get started and start getting into the statistic, I just want to confirm that we are live and you can be able to hear me. And if you can hear me, just drop me thumbs up or just in the chat. Let me check. If you're there in the chat, let me know. Let me say hello everyone. Just say hi, let me know where you're joining me from and what is your expectation for this live broadcast, because it's just going to be a super learning packed session. So get this free guide, www.careerpoint.co.ke/cover letter. Now, from the Bureau of Statistics, there's this interesting fact that it is said for every job that is posted out there, on average it will attract about 250 applications. And depending on the industry that you're in or which field you're in, like business management, accounting, finance, those positions attract up to 1,000 applications for only one and they want to hire only one person. Again, if it is a blue chip company, a company that people want to work with, a company like Safaricom, KCB, Coca-Cola, East African breweries, they really attract a lot of applications. So it is important for you to see how do you position yourself such that you can be able to stand out out of all these 250 applications. Now let's work with this trigger, 250 application. A very interesting fact, again, you need to be able to know is that 75% of these applicants who have applied for the job are not qualified for that position. What do I mean? We are looking for a customer care person, people who haven't done anything to do with customer care, but they just think this is something I can do. They have done legal, they are in the law, they have done law, or they have done engineering, or they have done business management, but they feel I can do customer care. They go ahead and apply. So that forms a bigger chunk of the applications that goes to the hiring manager, and you can start to see why is it that they have a very difficult time before they sift through all these applications to be able to get the right application. And that leaves us with only 63 applications out of the 250, which are somehow quote unquote qualified, or they have some skills, they have some experience, they have some qualification in this field that we are looking for. And even a depressing fact here from the Bureau of Statistics, only 2% of the candidates who apply for the job get invited for an interview. Now, we are working with 250, and that means only 2% are invited for the interview. So my question is, how do you ensure that you get invited for that interview? What is that one thing that has you think needs to set you apart so that you can be invited for that interview? What do you do to ensure that you fall among the 2%, those 5 people who are invited for that interview? If you have a certain trick that you use, I'll be very happy to read them, so drop it in the chat. I will be sharing with you what I normally do. Thank you, Edna Bingo. I can see you have joined us. It would be good to get response on WhatsApp messages. Okay, yes, we have our WhatsApp number. I will be sharing it, and you'll be getting the response. I will get in touch. Don't worry, sometimes we are overwhelmed with the number of messages that they come in, but we always make sure that we answer all of them. So Edna, thank you for bringing that up. So the question is, how then do you get to this 5%? Before I give you the secret, I want just to mention this, and it might sound a little bit counterintuitive, that sending out a high number of applications does not increase your chances of getting a job. We have been taught that we need to apply for as many jobs as we can. It's just the principle of throwing stuff on the wall, and at some point some will stick and we are happy. But sometimes that is not the right way, especially when it comes to application. Yes, I want you to send out more application, but not just any other application, but send out better application. Sending out better application will increase your chances of getting a job. And now, if you know what is working for you and you double down on it, you can be able to be assured of getting results. So sending out a high number of applications does not increase your chances of getting a job, but sending out better application. So the question is, how do you send out better application? Let me just check the chat. Yeah, more people joining us. I really appreciate you coming in. I want you to tell me, what is it that you do to make your application better? From my research and from what I have seen over time is that there are 3 things that you need to be able to make a good job application, a better job application, the one that will stand out from these 250 applications. And the 3 things that you need are: number 1, you need the job description. You need to have a cover letter, and that is why I'm giving you the ultimate cover letter guide for free. And you also need a professional CV. So I'll take a few minutes to be able to describe or show you how these 3 things add up for you to be able to create a really good job application. Number 1, the job description acts like your what do we call it? It's the marking scheme. This was an exam, and it's an exam, kind of an exam, but the hiring manager, the employer, the company has already told you in advance, this is what we are looking for. We want someone who can be able to do this. We want someone with this kind of qualifications. We want someone who has this level of experience and the characteristics that we want from them. So the job description has already given you that hint. The question now you need to ask yourself, when you read that job description, does it describe you? And if yes, then go ahead and apply. If it doesn't describe you, then I would ask you to just think, is it describing me at least 50%? Not even 50, 70%. Because if you end up applying for a job that does not describe you, at least 70%, you will end up in that pile of the 75% of the CVs that never get read, because you just applied for the sake of applying. There is no unique characteristic or qualification that you have that gives you permission to be able to get this job. Now, the next thing you need is a cover letter. And basically, a cover letter is a highly customized application letter that allows you to apply for a job and specifically communicate to the hiring manager that you are the best candidate. What sets you apart? I picked a random job description for an accountant, and if you were to work in this company as the accountant, some of the roles that you will be doing, number 1, will include reviewing and establishing proper accounting systems. Number 2, you will be supporting budget and focusing activities, and then you will be liaising with internal and external auditors. Now, there were more responsibilities, there were qualifications and such stuff. But if this is the job you're trying to apply and it somehow fits into that criteria, then somewhere in your cover letter you should have a statement that reads, I have the ability to review and establish proper accounting systems. In my previous employment at ABC, I was involved in liaising with internal and external auditors. So what really pops up here is to show when someone is reading this cover letter, they feel like, yes, this is the person we are looking for. They will come and do exactly what we want them to do. They have experience in it. And yes, this is someone that will not waste time trying to show them what needs to be done. So at this point, I just want to pause and just ask, do we have any questions? Remember, we are going to continue picking it questions. Drop them in the chat and I'll be able to respond to all the questions that you have. Thank you very much. I can see Edna is there. The only way I can be able to ascertain that you are there, you're here with me live, is if you like this video, drop in a comment in the chat so that we can be able to proceed and I'll be able to answer any of the questions. Now, having said that, get the ultimate cover letter guide. I want you to go to careerpoint.co.ke/cover letter and get yourself the ultimate cover letter guide, which will also give you 101 sample cover letters in all the professions. And if you don't find one in your field, just drop me an email and of course I'll be able to shoot it to you. On top of the cover letter, now you need a professional CV. Yeah, most of us have just a CV, which is a documentation of where you went to school, where you have worked, and the kind of the different roles you have been having, and probably a list of your referees, being quite important information to you, but they don't really sell you out. However, on the other side, professional CV, this is a document that you use to market yourself. Now, I want you to think about any company that have a product that they want to bring into the market, and the best they can be able to do is to advertise it. They will use newspaper, they will use radio, they will use billboards, but you and me don't have the luxury of having a billboard about ourselves. So what we rely on is the cover, the CV, and we need to be very clear, what is it that we are selling in this kind of setup. You're selling your skills, you're selling your capabilities, you're selling your qualifications, you're selling all this to the employer and experience, and you need to find a way of how to put it. From a famous study, it is said that it takes about 6 seconds for the hiring manager to decide if they're going to read through your CV or not. Do you think your CV passes this 6-second test? Yeah, because if it doesn't, that is why you're never invited for the interview. And what I want to say is, I have done a video on how you can make sure that you pass this 6-second test. I will also drop that link of the video in the description so that you can go and check. But the essence or the thing around it is that when you are having this kind of CV, you need to consider, this is the layout of most CVs. And when you look at this CV, I can see it's from for Daniel Mutuku. He's Kenyan, married, date of birth, can see his phone number. If I spend even less than 6 seconds just looking at this, can it answer the question, what can this person do? Because that is the number one question at the back of the mind of the hiring manager. They're asking, what can this person do? And if you can't answer, then you are wasting your 6 seconds. Yeah. If you do a good job working on your CV and creating a good CV, then you will be invited for the interview. And I want to talk about the interview in a short while. But before we move on, this is not the best way to present your CV. And that is why I want to give you an opportunity to send us your CV for a free review. In the description of this video, I've also put that link. I want you to go to www.careerpoint.co.ke/CV review. www.careerpoint.co.ke/CV review, and you will get an opportunity to send us your CV and we will be able to review it. If you do a good job in these 3 things, there we go, these 3 things: job description, understanding it very clearly, and also understanding how you can be able to use a cover letter to showcase that exactly you are the candidate that they are looking for, and you of course attach a professional CV that sells you out, then with no doubt you will be invited for the interview. So before I go to the interview section, I want to see if we have any questions so far. Anyone who has any questions, please feel free to drop that question in the chat, and I'll be able to get and answer all the questions that you have. Let me check here. Yes, people, if you're there, just say hello, just drop like this video. Okay, thank you very much. I think only Edna has been able to drop in a comment. The rest of us, let's see how we are able to just drop in a comment or a question. I'll be handling that when we get to the Q&A session. Yeah, but this is good. Let me see. So let's think about the interview. Now, when it comes to preparing for the interview, it is way beyond just the typical stuff that we are told. That of course you need to dress properly and dress for success when you're going for the interview. You need also to be there in good time. Personally, when I'm doing interviews, anyone who comes in late for an interview, irrespective of how qualified they are, that is just the end of the conversation. They don't go past that. So keeping time is very important. Also think about how do you present yourself. Their body language, it is said 90, I think, I'm not sure of the figure, but it's around 97% of the communication is through non-verbals, your body language. Only 3% comes out in form of words. So think about the body language, expect the unexpected when it comes to the interviews, and always think about what is the question that you're going to ask in that interview. As much as an interview is a position where you're just being asked questions, but you need to think, what questions should I also ask when it comes to the interview? Yeah, I can see. Okay, that was not a question. I thought it was a question. 99.99% of the interviews that you will attend, the first question you will be asked will be, tell us about yourself. Do you know how to respond to that question? Because if you don't know how to respond to that question, that will set up the pace for the rest of the interview. And even more importantly, I want to say, when preparing for an interview, it is important for you to think through what are some of the questions that you can be asked, so that you can start preparing the answers for these questions, so that when you get to be asked that question, you know how to respond to them. I've also done a video on how to answer this question in an interview. Check out my page, my YouTube channel, like the videos, you will be able to see it. Something also very important I would want to mention is that in this day and age, with the COVID and all the protocols, it is also important to start thinking about how do you prepare for either a phone interview or a video interview. Basically, you will need to follow the rules of any other interview, but of course now in addition to that, think about the technology that you're going to use. Think about doing practice or test before the actual time for the interview, because we know how sometimes technology can decide to mess us up when we really need it. So try it out, be there early, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, try out so that you can see, is this a good place, is the microphone working, is the video okay, and of course have a quiet place.